Whoa, really good. Okay, that's enough. Back to comfort. Is the Ford Edge ST an SUV worthy of the acclaimed ST badge? We drove it, and we're going to tell you, this is the new car show!
Wow.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, we got hit up by our buddies at Ford Performance, and they were like, hey, do you want to come out to Utah this Monday and drive the new Ford Edge ST?
It was pretty short notice.
Super short notice. Now, we've done some stuff with this car before. I actually drove the first one, the actual one that was debuted at Detroit Motor Show. I drove that in January when we did a spot to help reveal the car with the Stig. You can check part of that out right here.
Or
When we had the opportunity to drive this car, we both jumped at it. This is the first episode that we're co-hosting together. So, yeah, is the Ford Edge ST the performance SUV that Ford says it is?
let's find out. Roll the tape. Hello.
So we're in Salt Lake City. We're about to drive some Edge STs. So first things first, I like the interior.
Probably the nicest of all the ST vehicles that I've been in.
It's got nice bolsters on the seats. They definitely want to make it feel sporty. You got some contrasting colors on the steering wheel, which means, you know, sport. Initial thoughts on the interior. The seats are cool.
Yeah, seats are good. Doors are good.
Door panels are really
Yeah.
good. Door
Wheels
panels
good.
feel Audi.
Yeah, they do. Like they're stitched and they got like leather and like
Yeah.
trim and stuff. You're like, oh, that's really nice. And then your eyes move towards the wheel and you're like, this is a nice steering wheel. Feels good. It's got the flappy paddles.
It's got good buttons.
Yeah, got good buttons.
I like crossovers, and I know that's not a super popular opinion for car dudes, but I'm in my 30s.
I feel like someone who has all their ducks in a row. You can tell that I have my ducks in a row because I use the term ducks in a row, which is not something someone under the age of 45 says. So
I'm a fan of this car. I want this car to be good. This is like a perfect size car for me. This is the first ever SUV from Ford Performance Team. So that's an actual performance team, and they made this SUV. We got our nav set up. This is a whole thing set up by Ford. They programmed in a little map. We have a destination. This feels very fun. It feels like a scavenger hunt. So I guess we should start. It would be, oh, there are pedals. Cool, and they spin with the steering wheel just like a Pagani. I would know, I've driven a Pagani. There's Nolan, my son. I'm so proud of him.
So I think our goal here is to figure out,
Is this an SUV, a crossover SUV worthy of the now legendary ST badge?
that's what we're here to find out.
So we got in the cars and put it in comfort mode. I guess I forgot to give Nolan the memo because he put it right in sport and just zoomed.
You gotta see what it does. This thing does have some pull to it.
Damn, Nolan. I guess Nolan's like reviewing performance right off the boot.
It's pretty awesome. Is this Salt Lake City? I was expecting a little more salts and lakes.
It's good. It does feel big. It's definitely a big car. Like, this is bigger than my car. We're in comfort mode right now. Just normal mode. Feels like a nice new car. Ooh, you could put like a friggin' watermelon down there. That's good storage. There's also like this weird storage down here. Like, I am a fan of a panoramic sunroof. Ooh, it's automatic. That's nice.
Oh no. What? Ours doesn't close. Now we're gonna bake in here. We're gonna die. It seriously, it doesn't. Oh, no? Okay, the vent works great. Yeah, it doesn't close. No? Oh, now we can open it all the way up. Oh, it's just the glass. I don't think it has a cover. Yeah, it must have a cover. Oh well, we'll die like men. Sweaty, clammy, and slightly uncomfortable. This is the Edge ST's natural habitat right here, suburbia.
Around town, pretty good. Feels like a nice car. It's very like solid. It's a very solid feeling car. What do you think Lauren and Nolan are talking about?
Turn left now.
I can't, it's a red light. Let's give this lady a name. Susan? Yeah, she sounds like such a Susan.
I don't know, it's got a lot of cool tech. It's got active cruise control. It's got lane centering to keep you just in the middle of your lane on long road trips. It's got collision detection, so it's got like a radar system at the front of the car that will keep you from smashing into the car in front of you or running over pedestrians. It's got all the typical Ford amenities. It's got sync, I believe.
All of the Ford cars have the quickest sync out of any car I've ever driven. That means my phone always links up super fast in every Ford, which sounds like a little thing, but in most other cars, you're like almost out of the parking lot by the time your music kicks in. This thing also has wireless charging down here. We'll see how it works in this car, but in every other car that I've driven with wireless charging, all it does is make my phone hot and not charge it at all. It sounds good. Speaking of the engine, it is the 2.7 EcoBoost Turbo. They gave it about 30 more horsepower, and now it has
330?
330.
Yeah, let's fact check here.
Yeah,
Oh, 335, yeah.
335, which is
Pretty good.
yeah. In 1998, that would be the most.
Yeah, that'd be
That
insane.
would be like the most.
But nowadays, that's like 300 is the new 200.
Right,
basically.
like Kias have
Yeah, the
365
Stinger,
horsepower.
yeah.
So it's a decent amount of power. It also has a brand new 8-speed gearbox. So they gave the transmission 2 more gears so that it's always in the right gear, and then 8th gear is like an overdrive. Nolan's just like gunning it. Are you just like punching it? Like
Yeah. It's got some pull, man.
yeah. Are you in sport mode?
I am.
Let's see the difference between sport and normal.
Okay.
I'm trying to be a good journalist, and Nolan's out here being a hot boy. Did you turn my seat warmer on? I was like, why am I so hot? So when we got to the like meetup spot where they gave us our car and we signed in and stuff, there was like coffee and bagels and all this stuff, and these bottles of cold brew were sitting next to it. It looks like a beer bottle. And I was like, dang, Ford, like what the hell? This is a driving event, dude. Like I still feel super weird like driving around like, ugh. No, you go. Hey. So right now we're going to our first destination, Ken Block's shop. It does feel sporty, like that noise and stuff, and the fact that you're able to shift with paddles.
Paddle shifters are more of just a suggestion, I think. They're not the most responsive I've ever felt, but yeah, it's a crossover SUV after all. It's not going to be insane.
You can definitely feel some of the other ST models in this car, but this thing weighs like twice as much, which like it can't help because it's like big, but it does handle pretty well. One thing to keep in mind, and I'm gonna try and keep in mind while I'm driving this thing, is that it starts at like 42 grand, which is a lot less than any other like actual sporty CUV on the market. I mean, I walked into this thing sort of wanting to compare it to like the Audi SQ line, and I still think you can, but this car is way cheaper than that. Like you can get into one of these for the same price as like a Focus RS, which is a great car, but one, they're not making it anymore, so you can't buy a new one. And two, for a lot of people, that's not a big enough car. Like you couldn't really effectively have a family and dogs and stuff and drive them around in a Focus RS. You could do that with this car very easily. I have to I'm full of trout. Ugh.
Cruise control on, set, and let's see what this lane will keep you in the middle of the lane. Now, I don't think it turns with the road. I think you still have to do that, but we'll try. No, okay, it's not autopilot, but I guess this will keep you in the middle of the lane, right? Let's see. Yeah, okay, now we're doing it. Oh, it's actually keeping me in the lane. Crazy. Like I can feel it turning the wheel. That's weird. I don't like this. Oh, jeez. I don't like this. That's really strange, man. I don't know how I feel about a car that drives itself. I don't think I like it very much.
This weather is weird, dude. It's like sunny and raining. We are at Hoonigan Racing headquarters. This is where Ken Block works.
We're at Hoonigan, not the one in Long Beach. This is where Ken Block builds his race cars, I believe, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna get a little tour and see some cool stuff.
It's interesting to see the edge next to the RS because it shares a lot of the same design language, like especially in like the slope of the rear window, the shape of the windows. The rear bumpers are like super similar with the ducts on the sides.
Interesting.
This is is what our office should look like.
Yeah.
This is like a cooler version of Donut.
I want to have like a sleepover here. Shout out Ben
The
Conrad.
founder of Donut directed all 3 of these Jim Conrad. That's so cool. Visibility is kind of
So this is not the one that.
Back on the road. It is raining. I'm realizing that this is the first time that I've ever done a car review in the rain. You know, in your normal day-to-day, sometimes the sky decides to open up and dump a bunch of water on you. I do feel very confident in this car, regardless of the weather. Like it felt very solid from the first time we pulled it out, and like it's still like, even though it's pouring right now, it still feels very, very solid even on these summer tires. So good job on that, Ford. Windshield wipers work great. For some reason it smells like dog food in here. This weather is a trip, dude.
The rain has kind of died down a little bit. So we finally found a back road where we can drive these things like an ST car is meant to be driven. And I gotta say, for an SUV, it's not bad. It's pretty punchy, especially for a crossover. It just surprises you with how responsive it is. Like, there's a little bit of turbo lag, but if you keep it in the 3,500 range, you're good. The transmission downshifts well, but like upshifting has been kind of a weird problem. I think it is a software deal, and I think it has probably just some sort of economy thing, or I don't know. This thing's impressive. That's all I'll say. It's like, I'm on board with this, man.
We actually heard about this car before anyone. We were under an NDA before it debuted at the Los Angeles Motor Show. Oh! So we knew about it and we couldn't talk about it. And even after we saw it for the first time, they wouldn't give us any specs on the thing until we were editing it. And naturally, all of us were like, oh man, they're making a performance SUV. I hope it has the Raptor engine in it. So this thing would be a lot cooler if it had the 3.5 from the Raptor. So this thing is cool, but I just feel like they just didn't go far enough in like a bunch of different ways. There should be more than one special button, like there should be more than one performance level that you can up it. It's definitely more fun than like a Tiguan, but I really just feel like Ford could have gone a little bit further with it. For 42 grand, I mean, this is a good buy. I would consider buying one of these. Is it insane? No. Is it fun? Absolutely. If I could find someone to love me and have children with me, I would definitely consider buying this car. Susan, I know you love me, but you're a robot that lives in a press car. I can't take you back to Los Angeles with me. As soon as this weekend is over, Susan, you go back to Detroit, I go back to LA, and we'll probably never see each other again.
You have arrived at your waypoint on the left.
Thanks, Susan.
So if you are a young parent looking to find the perfect balance between utility and making your kids throw up in the back seat, I think this is the one. I know Ford probably wouldn't like me saying, but this car makes it so easy to drive like a jerk.
Yeah, so we're stopping, changing some cameras. So far the drive has been gorgeous. Utah is really beautiful. All right, Nolan, what do you think so far? We just hit some twisties. The road's a little wet. We've been seeing a little bit of weather.
It's actually really good.
Yeah.
You have a lot of confidence. Like, we were definitely breaking the speed limit, but it doesn't feel like you are.
Yeah, it's very planted and like it encourages you to be confident, and it carries corners really well. For like such a big car, it is really good. Yeah. Like I was actually talking about Ford not putting the 3.5 in it from the Raptor, like being like, oh man, like they could have done it, but like, and like in the middle of that I was like, hold that thought. it's really good. Let's get back in these cars. Like if I got one of these, I would definitely want wider tires on it, and I would definitely want some kind of tune.
If you wanted to tune this, you would have to do things that definitely keep it from passing emissions. There's so much potential here to just have a ridiculously fast SUV. I'm surprised like Ford didn't put like a launch mode in this, because they did that with like, there's the blind lock mode in the Mustang, the drift mode in the Focus RS. This should have like a launch control. We're gonna launch, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Nolan letting it eat. Letting that Ford Edge ST eat, Nolan. The rear end does look cool. Like the rear 3/4 view, it looks very sporty. I also like, every time I look back, I like how it looks. It's like very bright. Every time I check over my shoulder, I'm like reminded how much I like. Okay, Susan, come on. I'm reminded by about how much I like the interior. There's a lot of windows back there. And the angle of the rear view window is very cool. I've never experienced.
Your waypoint on the left.
What is it? Susan, I don't know what a waypoint is. Okay, from what
3 miles on the current road.
I was talking, I show you respect. All I expect in return is that same amount of respect, okay? I was asking you, Susan, what a waypoint even is, because it's not a destination. You keep telling me about these waypoints, but then you're not like, hey, stop, and nothing fun happens there, okay? As far as I can tell, Susan, a waypoint is just like, hey, you're still going the right way, but Susan, I can tell that because I'm on the blue line. You understand? I'm sorry, I'm not upset with you. I don't know what a waypoint is. It's making me feel dumb. I'm sorry. This car has a thing called 4-wheel drive disconnect, which when I first heard, I thought, sick. It must be some sort of system similar to the Focus RS where you can get a lot more power to the back wheels. Awesome idea. Turns out it's the opposite of that. it'll move all the power to the front wheels so you can save on gas mileage. Which, if I'm honest with myself, is a better idea and a feature. Just shut off. If I'm honest with myself, that is a better idea and a thing that I would use more often. I would much rather have better gas mileage than be able to drift my SUV.
I'm like sweating now. Oh, I love those cooled seats. That's the best part. Oh, cooled seats, no more sweaty butt. Hairy guys, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, it's a little cheeky. They're having us finish off the drive with a little off-road section. It looks good off-road. Yeah, it's good. It's good off-road. Dude, driving off-road is so much more fun than driving on-road. Damn, dude, this is fun as hell. Ugh. No, don't stop. Don't stop. What the f, man? How are you gonna stop? Thanks for stopping right there. We're like at 90 degrees, dude. We've arrived. We're here. But perfect opportunity to try out the rear view camera. I don't want to hit the wall. Oh, dude, it's detecting all the rock. Nolan might be smooth going forward, but I just kicked his ass going backwards.
Man, when you're going backwards, everything feels a lot further.
What is he doing? Is he backing down the hill? We've pretty much driven it all we're gonna drive.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's a really impressive car. It's a crossover that you can have a lot of fun in. I didn't feel much understeer at all.
No.
Which was pretty impressive.
The turning radius is absurd.
Yeah, that too.
It's really good.
It's really nimble.
Like, it's like better turning radius than most all-wheel drive hatchbacks.
Absolutely.
I have a few like small kind of qualms with the interior, like fit and finish. I really like the door cards. I like the stitching on them.
Yep.
And I feel like that should carry over to the dash.
Yeah, the dash. I mean, that's like most Fords though, besides like the
most American cars.
Yeah. And that center console is a little too simple. There's no way I'd be able to memorize any of those buttons on there. Like, I want to be able to like reach down, know what I'm doing, and then never having to take my eyes off the road. And I think with that dash, that's probably not gonna happen.
I mean, give yourself a little credit. I feel like
maybe
in a couple weeks,
yeah,
you
maybe.
can memorize 8 buttons. I do like on the seats how they went with the black ST badge rather than the red.
Yeah, it's mature, you know. It's cool dad car.
It's a cool dad car for sure.
Back to the studio.
Is the Edge ST worthy, in our opinion, of wearing that badge when all it's doing is wearing that badge?
I think it should, like, Edge had a sport badge.
Yeah.
Until now, there was the Edge Sport. I think this probably should have still been the Edge Sport.
Agreed.
Because if it had that, it'd be like, oh, this is like a really good crossover SUV.
Yeah, you want to be blown away.
Yeah.
You don't want to be
served. It's those of you with significant others out there, you know that, like, to keep your partner happy, you can't just meet expectations, because meeting expectations is not a bare minimum, but it's a minimum of sorts, and that's kind of what I feel like right now.
But it is a good car. It is a solid car. It's just not a car for either of us. One thing that we are very excited about is the new Ranger.
Yes.
And Ford has already promised to bring us out so we can drive that. You guys promised. You can't take it back just because we didn't love this car. We've both built
Yeah.
Rangers on the Ford website.
Yes, we have.
We're so stoked about them. Maybe if you guys subscribe to our channel, we might make enough money someday where we could buy the cars
That'd
that
be
we
awesome.
build on
Yeah.
the configurator.
I would love a Ranger.
So thanks for watching the new car show. Follow me on Instagram at James Pumphrey. Follow Nolan.
At Nolan J. Sykes.
Follow Donut.
At Donut Media.
You want to know more about Ford's decision not to make cars anymore? Check out this episode of Wheelhouse. And if you want to know more about Ford trucks, watch this episode of Up to Speed. We love you.
Bye.